our goal is to open up the economy safely. I know a couple of hot zones might be a week later, but especially in the northern rural areas, we want to get the economy opening up, but safely. That's a number one priority.
That was Premier Ford on Wednesday, hinting that maybe Monday, that might be the day that they announce the start of opening the economy. I sure hope so, but regardless of what has been announced, there are growing numbers of businesses that are now saying, to hell with these restrictions. We're just going to do it. And it's hard to say you blame them. Businesses have been shut down for the last 2 months, and that, of course, is on top of the shutdowns of past springs. Gyms, salons, restaurants, all of these businesses that everyone deems unessential. I had no idea jobs weren't essential to the economy. Silly me. But they've had it. They've done their part. They aren't causing spread. Now they're broke. They're losing everything. And so no matter what happens on Monday or what's announced, there are 250 businesses across Canada that now say they will open in defiance, I guess be damned the consequences, come February the 11th. Vladislav Sobolev is the founder of a group called We Are All Essential. He joins us now. Good to have you.
Thank you very much for inviting me and mentioning the things that you did, meaning that the businesses, they're actually not contributing to anything spread-wise, and they are definitely so-called at the end of the rope. And that's why we have actually now 400 businesses. In the last 2 days, we had a huge expansion and growth. So we have 400 businesses across Canada that are definitely ready to take the action and protect their own livelihoods and the business that they established probably for generations before.
It's hard to say when businesses might reopen totally. I don't know when the end of this lockdown is ever going to be, because we were first told it was going to be a month, and then a month became 2 months, and now it's a wait and see, take each day, by approach. What are businesses saying to you? Why did you start this?
Yes. Well, as you just mentioned, the reality is this has been 2 weeks that lasted for the last 10 months, if you want to put everything together, right? And, myself, living for 21 years in Toronto, have personal experience both in hospitality industry and fitness wellness industry. So I know personally what those businesses, what it takes to open one and then able to survive. Both industries are not best in terms of risk factors in the general economy, right? And then when you have all these restrictions, they're pretty much, surviving or barely hanging on, so to speak. For most of the businesses, they are definitely in a hard rock place, so to speak, that the damned if they do and the damned if they don't. So for most businesses, it's pretty much last attempt to be able to survive in this economy.
Adamson Barbecue certainly got the most attention because he kind of stuck his thumb in the eye and made a very big deal about opening and going public about this. On the 11th, our business is going to make a note of opening to make sure that people know they're defying the lockdowns, or do they plan to do this quietly so that they can kind of stay under the radar?
Yeah, so we give opportunity to our businesses to join our network, both privately and publicly. So it's actually up to the business to choose how they conduct themselves in that way. We definitely encourage business to promote their own opening, because we tell them we have a huge army of customers that are eager to go and support those businesses. So it's actually in the business interest to be public, because then they're going to get tremendous amount of support. And the reality is, you brought up Adam's Barbecue as a great example, is that for a single restaurant, the city of Toronto literally had to bring the whole force, including riot horse squad, try to disperse the people, which was completely uncalled and unjustified. But the reality is, if we have 10 or even 100 businesses in Toronto alone opening up, there's no way the city will be able to crack down on everyone, and that's the whole point, to be united in defiance and non-compliance to unjustified orders from this government.
Now, is the goal to actually get businesses open so they can make money, or is the goal to send a message and just take the fine even if you get it?
No, I think for most businesses, they just want to go back to the normal life and operate. A lot of those businesses are regular Canadians, law-abiding citizens. They have young children, they have mortgages. This is not what we want to do. But like I said, when you put people in a position they have nothing to lose, people will do whatever it takes. And that's exactly what's going to take place on February 11th. And to the point is, this is pretty much the last offer to Doug Ford, so to speak, to not extend the lockdown. And this is his last opportunity to save whatever career is left of his career, because otherwise we're going to define the orders anyway. So it's actually in the best interest for Doug Ford, specifically in Ontario, not to extend the lockdown and just allow the businesses to conduct how they see fit. Nobody's forcing regular people to go to those businesses. If somebody doesn't feel safe, they can stay at home, they can wear the mask. We all adults, and we should be able to conduct our lives how we see fit without endangering other public. And asymptomatic people, who are actually called healthy people, are not danger to anyone.
What kind of business are you in, and how have you been affected by the lockdowns?
So personally, I had a wellness studio in Toronto for 4 years. I did close it down, so all my business before COVID was online. So I personally actually was not affected as dramatically as all the other business owners in the city and in the country altogether. So for me, I'm probably one of the least people being affected from the business perspective. There's a lot of other things that affected my life personally, COVID-wise, but I'm just like a regular person understanding the whole ramifications. I was born in Soviet Union, where all the dictatorship measures, tyrannical government was implemented, and people have no freedoms, no private property. They were not able to do what they really wanted to do with their lives. And I see this tendency happening right now. And being a parent, I have, a 4-year-old son, have a new baby on the way, so I want to make sure that this country actually remains free for the next generations to come. And that's why I'm doing it, and that's why all the business owners in our network are actually true activists and patriots for this country.
And, they're talking now third and fourth waves and possible more shutdowns. I mean, this thing is not going away anytime soon, and certainly because we don't have vaccines and they're not coming anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, if the government was really caring about public health, they would do other things except just telling people to wear the masks and social distancing and isolation. In fact, the health of Canadians is probably its worst it's ever been in the last 10 months. So it just goes to show you that all the resources and all the measures that the government is doing is actually making Canadians sicker, not healthier. So they should all stop. And the point is, the money should be spent on nutritional program, on wellness program, and prevention of suicide and drug overdose. Those are true epidemics that we have in this country way before COVID. And for some reason, they no longer exist. It's really incredible to even think about that. The only thing that we should be worrying right now is COVID, when we have real life situations happening with all the Canadians.
Yeah, there's no question. There's a huge collateral damage that seems to kind of take a back seat and should be just as much in the forefront as COVID. Nonetheless, there will be people who say that you're being irresponsible and that you should be punished for breaking the rules. What do you say to them?
I say that, we should look at the real data. And real data actually is on our side. That, as you even mentioned yourself, the businesses that are forced to shut down don't even contribute to any transmission whatsoever. The big box stores actually have documented transmissions, however, they're not forced to be closed, right? And at the end of the day, if you look at the real data, in the last year of 2020, we had same amount of people dying overall from all the causes of death comparing to the previous 5 years in a row. So how possibly can we have an actual pandemic when you have the same amount of people dying in total? And the average life expectancy of a Canadian is 82, and average age of a person dying with COVID is 86. Those are just the simple statistics, shows to you that this was completely unjustified and way overblown of the situation, and the government unfortunately spent unlimited resources on a fear propaganda and obviously used a lot of mass media, unfortunately, to push this narrative, which is unfortunate. When you're in a fear state, your immune system is actually suppressed and you get sicker just from general things anyway.
How far are you willing to take this?
Like I mentioned, we have to open our country, so whatever it takes, the businesses will stay open and we're going to add more businesses. Our goal is to have 1,000 businesses in our network by next Thursday, and we're definitely on that track to make that real.
We will stay tuned and wish you the best of luck. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity. Stay healthy.
Thank you, as you as well. That is Ladislav Sobolev, and the group is called We Are All Essential. So you can look that up if you want to get some information about that, or if you feel interested in joining the cause. But no question. Look, the businesses at this point, at the very, very least, the Ford government's got to give them a timeline. I mean, there's businesses that can't order merchandise for the spring. They can't plan ahead. And they've got to. You've got to give them at least that. So you got to give them something if you're not going to open them, which at this point, they should be allowed to open. I say shut down those box stores and let the independents try to at least catch their breath, if that's even possible at this point. Stay here with us on Point. Alex Pearson, this is Global News Radio.